Hello and welcome back to the channel and another video on the Boxster S. Last time I did a video on 5 things I love about this car, but it's not to say that this car is without fault. In this video I'm going to be going through 5 things that I hate about this car. I mean, hate is a strong word, but just things that I dislike. So the first thing that I dislike about the car is not about the car itself, but rather the key. I think the key is just outdated. It has a front and a rear boot button and just a lock and unlock button here, so it's quite hard to tell whether the car is or isn't locked when you press it. So it's led to times where in a car park, I can't remember whether I've locked the car, I press the button but I'm not sure whether that's locked or not. So I then have to go up, back across the car park and try the door handle just to see whether I did or didn't lock it. Also, with this large area of the key sticking out, I would have liked maybe a flip key or something where that's not pointing out all the time. It's only something minor and really it doesn't bother me too much, but I just thought it would have been nice. I have seen there are some aftermarket precision engineered keys that you can get. I can't remember the company name, but if I do find it, I'll put a screenshot in here. But that is the first thing that I dislike about this car. As you can see, everything here is leather all across the dash. A very high quality interior, apart from these switches. And this is something that I've seen on pretty much all 987s of this era. The switches, all of these are nice hard touch plastics, but these two that control the temperature and the fan speed are sort of coated in, I can even scrape some off, coated in this soft black plastic, which just makes it look cheap and low end. So something that I do find incredibly frustrating with this car also affects 911s, Caymans, but most specifically the Boxsters, and that's working on the cars. With the 911s and the Caymans and even these, if there's any engine work that needs to be done, with the Boxsters it takes such a long time to get to the engine, to put it into its service mode of bringing the roof back, taking the subwoofer out, opening up the access panel, and then from inside there's also another access panel which involves taking a load of the carpet off. To do this just when you take it to a garage, because I have had a coolant pipe crack on this which needed to be accessed from inside the car, it adds on a lot of labour time to your repair bills. So work on these cars can, if you're not doing it yourself, it can get expensive. If you are doing it yourself, I found it is quite difficult. After a while, I'm sure you can get used to how these cars are put together, and that's why the specialists can do everything so quickly. But I just find the working on the car is just quite a faff. Even from underneath, the whole car is covered in plastic under trays, which is to protect everything under there. But to get it off, it just adds a lot of labour time. If you are taking it to a garage, you will have to pay that extra. Just something to consider. Again, nothing major. Hopefully you don't need to have any work done on your car. So the next thing I dislike about this car isn't actually, again, something wrong with the car. It's more wrong with the perception of the car. When you're talking to someone who's not into cars, doesn't know Porsches very well, and you say, oh, I have a Porsche. They say, oh, what type? Oh, I take it, it's a 911. And you say, no, it's a Boxster. And they say, oh, so not a real Porsche. Or it's a hairdresser's car, it's a woman's car, things along these lines, which personally I don't quite get, because it is a 3.2 mid-engine German sports car. That's quite a cool thing in my view, and hopefully in your view as well. I mean, you are watching this video, so hopefully you do like these cars. But it's just the opinion of, I wouldn't even say the general public. There's a minority of people who tend to point fun at these cars, which I don't understand. So it's not something I dislike about the car. I love the car personally, but just the general public, they're annoying. And the last thing about these cars, which I'm sure all of you would have heard of, is the engine problems. Whether it's IMS, bore score, RMS, things along those lines. You do hear a lot of horror stories about these engines, mainly cropping from the internet, that have been blown out of proportion. After speaking with a few specialists, the likeliness of your car being affected by any of these is incredibly low. But it's not to say that it can't happen. With mine, the engine rebuild that was needed wasn't actually any of those. So I will be doing a full video on what went wrong with the engine. That's coming. If you do want to see that, do stick around, subscribe. But when coming to sell these cars, the main thing that I've seen is people would message you saying, has the IMS been changed? Has it got any bore score? They want reports and proof. If it hasn't had an IMS done, not that it is an issue, but it's a massive selling point and makes your car stick out from the crowd. When mine had the engine rebuild done while the engine was out, I did upgrade the IMS. I didn't really feel like I needed to, because I didn't think it was going to fail. But for when coming to sell the car, if it has had a new IMS put in, an upgraded one, I think it will just sell a lot quicker. So that has been my 5 things that I hate about this car. If you have enjoyed the video, do like and subscribe for plenty more videos to come.